you just waltzed in this morning, but from what you've seen, how have you been liking him in the mornings here?
Well, unfortunately, I got delayed on my flight up here. So the gallop that I was really worried about was yesterday. And we wanted to have what I'd call a nice, swift, happy gallop. And we jumped him away from the 3/16 pole where they start the Preakness, let him gallop around where he was comfortable, and then finish up down the lane a little bit. So it was kind of a longer, slow. I wouldn't call it a workout, but we call it a happy gallop, and just to keep him on edge and let him open up a little bit. And today's easy, tomorrow's easy, just light stuff.
And outside of that, how's he been doing? How, the reports he's been giving from Ray, how's he been handling everything outside of just regular training? Eating?
Well, this is a horse I've said all along. He's an old soul. It's as if nothing bothers him at any point in time. But he has eaten well. He's actually eaten better coming into the Preakness than he did into the Derby. And he's not a very big horse, so he doesn't take a lot. But that's something we watch real close, and he's done super.
Speaking of not being a big horse, potentially with how weather turns out, it could work out in his favor for Saturday.
Well, I don't think he needs a wet track, but I think we know he can handle it. So we'll let that come as it may. You can't control the weather between now and then, and we don't pretend to try to guess it. So, but this horse is a horse you can bring over there, and he's going to run wet or dry.
Now, how much of a relief was it with the big scratching of your morning line favorite?
Well, you get mixed feelings about that. Obviously, it makes the race a little bit easier with a horse like Muth out, but I think it's bad for the fans, and I really think a lot of people were looking forward to that rematch, and that's disappointing for everybody. But at the same time, Bob is doing the right thing, and we all deal with that. I've had a horse a few years ago, King Fury, that I had to scratch the morning of the Kentucky Derby, and that was tough. And so when you come this far and you make so many strides, well, excuse the term, to get here, and then something like that happens is really, really hard on everybody involved.
Well, then let's talk about how grateful you are to be in this position. I mean, you've had a wonderful year. I mean, what's going on with you right now on the inside with Kenny about how Preakness is 145, 149 is going down?
Well, we're trying to just keep it steady. We're keeping the family and everybody. We're not going to get too high or too low about anything, win or lose, and we need to just keep our world simple and not get all high and mighty about anything. This is a very nice position to be in, but this is also can be a very humbling game, and we're not going to take any of it for granted. And the hardest part's probably the media, and we deal with a lot of people asking a lot of questions, but I feel like at this stage, somewhat of an ambassador for the sport, and it is a responsibility, and it's an honor.
Let's talk about the race itself. How do things set up? What's your perfect trip?
Well, we'll leave that to Brian. I don't pretend to guess these kind of things. I think you get in trouble trying to guess pace of the race and such. But Brian knows the horse really well, as we all know, and we're going to let Brian go out there and do what he does well.
Now, having the trip that he did have in the Derby with that huge field, getting a wonderful trip, got to feel better about just a smaller field in general.
Well, the Derby for him was a bit of a smaller field anyway, because he didn't have to deal with the horses on the outside of him or behind him. So he did have a wonderful trip in the Derby, but at the same time, he was the fastest horse. And so all that's got to come together. And there's still 7 nice horses in this race, and we're not going to take anything for granted.
Well, it's funny that it's nice that you said the fastest horse in the Derby, because you know how the saying goes, it's the luckiest horse in the Derby and the fastest horse in the Preakness, so that just really buys well into what's going on here. How do you like your post position?
Well, it's good. I don't know that there's that much speed on the inside of him, but once again, we'll let Brian decide, and we'll probably let him jump and run to the first turn and then settle in from there and see if anybody wants to challenge from the outside. But I don't try to overcoach Brian. Typically, it's not unusual for me to say, hey, we think you're on the best horse, go out there and have fun.
Now, let's think a little bit forward into the future. Best case scenario, what would it be like to win Preakness 140?
Well, we don't assume anything.
Right.
And yeah, it'd be great. I mean, having won a Preakness, it's a great feeling. But I won a Preakness when no one was here during COVID. So that was kind of an unusual feeling, but let's keep our fingers crossed all goes well this weekend and make no assumptions.
All right, Kenny, I'm going to leave it with that for you. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.